This episode of Courage was banned from TV and later streaming platforms because it was excessively dark for an already obscure show like this. And it makes sense when we see it shows us psychological and physical a red district, Bonnie. Seriously, it makes me wonder how they got away creating something like this. Not complaining though, but me talking about this makes me wonder if this video will even have ads. It's a normal evening and Courage is taking a nap while accompanying Muriel. While in the distance, a white figure with a disturbing mask begins to approach. Courage realizes this someone is close to them, and then hears the phrase, "Dogs are evil." We can hear this person is a girl. She starts beating the crap out of Courage so much that it's like she was in the kitchen making smashed potatoes. Muriel notices this and is delighted to meet her since the poor dog doesn't have many friends, so she invites her to dinner. Oh well, the poor dog doesn't even know her, obviously, and then continues to get absolutely abused because gender hatred. All dogs/men are evil is hilarious. For the next scene, already at dinner, we learn more about this character. She presents herself as Kitty and that she comes from the wrong side of the tracks. And sure is wrong because this place doesn't look safe at all, since we will see how Courage will enter this place without getting stabbed. While she pours some tea, she starts mentioning her closest friends Bonnie and how she fell in love with a gangster who mistreats her and literally treats her like a slave. And the old man has something to say after these strong statements.
My kind of guy.
When the bad guy found out that Kitty was trying to get Bonnie to run away, he threatened her life. But what matters the most to Kitty is that she's not going to see her best friend again, saying that she misses her a lot. One curious thing is that Courage is still scared of her and is full of bruises and wounds that I don't know if that was just for the laughs or it could also indicate how the consequences of mistreatment can become a cycle of abuse. Because while she is sad and talks about how bad violence is, we see the poor innocent dog wounded. That's an irony that shows how trauma can lead to a repetitive cycle and prejudices, and dogs are evil. But who's being the evil bitch here? Then the old man asks her to take off her mask. That makes Kitty explode with anger, slapping the tea off the table. She stares at him a little and then walks away while saying again, "Dogs are evil." And Muriel tells the old man not to mention that mask again because, oh well, that was a bit of an awkward situation, right? There that night, Courage is chilling, having a good time and laughing his ass off, watching some good old TV. However, the peace is interrupted once again out of nowhere when Kitty begins to hit him. The silly dog tries to warn Muriel that Kitty is someone dangerous, all to be ignored once more. She hands the plunger to him and now he has to do the dirty job. Seconds after, the crazy masked girl enters the bathroom and not to help him. Oh, well, maybe yeah, because now she's plunging the bathroom while showing Courage. Hey, at least they fixed the bathroom, so that's good, I guess. At dinner, Courage is very scared of Kitty and the old man asks questions we all are wondering. Why don't you take off your mask? What are you hiding? And she answers that she doesn't want to face reality. And although the elders try to convince her that we all must face reality, to which Kitty, annoyed, she starts offending them by saying that they also hide things, like Muriel eating more dessert during the night, making her feel guilty, and that he's an useless old man that doesn't know how to fix absolutely anything, showing that we all have something to hide behind a mask. So again, kinda an embarrassing situation, so the dinner ends. I don't know, but I'm starting to think she's a terrible guest. It's time to sleep and Muriel offers Kitty a room to spend the night. Courage, really nervous of having someone as deranged as that in home, stays awake all night watching her. And he finds out that the name Kitty wasn't just a nickname. She is in fact a kitty. Courage panics and decides to lock her in a room, trying to warn his owners while shape-shifting into horrible creatures, and it makes sense since she hasn't stopped beating his ass since the 1 minute mark of the episode. So it is normal for him to see her not as a cute kitty, but as a complete monster. The elders are like, "You stupid dog." So he decides to take justice into his own hands and try to get that monster out of his house. So when trying to come up with a plan, he remembers that she has a precious toy that he saw through the keyhole. He will take it to the army and with airplanes and tanks, they will save his family. What could possibly go wrong? He climbs till the attic window. Kitty's asleep with her head under the pillow. I thought I was the only one who slept that way. And with a little trick of a feather, he manages to take away the mouse from Kitty, escaping and taking the old man's truck towards the city. He stops by outside to drink a beer, and this diner scene looks kinda sick. Someone should rescale this and make a wallpaper or something. He pulls out the mouse toy and looks at the bottom, and it says to Kitty, love Bonnie. But he imagines the monster eating his family, making him scream, and a ginormous rat approaches him, and Courage is scared, starts giving him his belongings, thinking he's robbing him. The bartender rat asks him if he knows Kitty. That toy is Kitty's. He mentions that Bonnie's in a bad way without Kitty. With Bonnie's guys, Mad Dog, he didn't like them being so friendly-like, and he's very jealous. And the rat tells him how to get to Bonnie's whereabouts and asks Courage to once he rescues her, he says hi. Meanwhile, back at the house, Muriel wants to pee, but since she's locked up because of Courage, she has to wake the old man so that he can try opening the door. Oh boy, we're locked with that. Courage finally arrives on the other side of the tracks, a sinister, dirty and insecure place. An industrial area that houses only a run-down apartment building with shady red lights coming from all the windows. Kinda reminds me of a red district, and this will make much more sense later. You'll see. Courage is hiding while his mind continues to imagine that he has a monster inside his house, and that he's probably gonna get stabbed and inappropriately touched. The gang of dogs pulls up in a pink Cadillac full pimp style. The leader drags a Bonnie. Courage adds 1 + 1 and realizes that she's Bonnie, and she's being forced to enter the gloomy red apartments. And it is right here where the episode takes an even darker turn. Kitty realizes something's missing and doesn't take it in the best way possible. She starts screaming that all dogs are alike, they steal what you love the most. Back to the dubious building, and I'm gonna break down this scene based on this comment which depicts this very good. Bonnie's sitting on the couch sadly. Mad Dog is trying to manipulate her. He realizes she's thinking about Kitty. He mentions her, which makes Shorty a little sad. He says, I told you to forget about her, which is basically trying to control her. He then says, I take you from a 2-bed joint and make you a class act, and you want to make me second rate, which implies some gross things. Think about what he means by class act in adult terms. On top of that, just because you helped someone does not mean you are entitled to them or their body. Mad Dog then yells, if I even smell Kitty, I'll bury the two of you. Wow, that's a wild statement. It appears that bro is a little agitated. Yeah, that's bad because both he threatened her, he's trying to control her, and because he's isolating her. Mad Dog starts to do damage control, a thing abusers do after they blow up. He confronts her and says, Bonnie, you're my girl. But she doesn't want to be his girl. She's being held hostage. That's why she starts crying harder. He says, let's go back to the way we was. You know, happy like. And stop his hug to instead grab her wrists together, which clearly show how she wants to leave, but he won't let her. She then swiftly attaches his collar to the lamp in hopes he will stop him from chasing after her. She even had already a suitcase packed and hidden under the couch. I'm guessing she's been plotting this escape for a while. Sadly, there's guards outside the room, and poor Bonnie is immediately caught. She begs them to let go of her a couple times and calls them animals. Courage couldn't continue watching what was happening inside the room. Yep, that was some wild stuff. I still think he was written in a very creative way, and I think episodes like this are necessary to identify how mistreatment actually looks like. It makes everyone more aware about domestic violence. Back at the house, the scene Almine is trying to open Kitty's door while she's inside and doesn't stop screaming. We can see that she has already scratched all the walls while she hits the door and enters in despair. Probably being locked inside brought some bad memories of past experiences. That's why this reaction, I would guess. Muriel is also having a bad time, sweating, holding her pee, but she finds an easier way to open the door than breaking screwdrivers or hitting it with rocks like the old man. She notices a bobby pin on the floor, which finally allows her to go to the bathroom, feeling that awesome relief that is such an amazing feeling. Yeah, I know what it feels like, Muriel. Courage continues peeking out of a window, trying to get her attention, and she's literally worried. Oh, so when he said, I'm gonna bury both of you, he wasn't gonna kill them. He meant this. Maybe he isn't as bad as we thought he was. When she realized Courage's presence, she's like, oh no, not another dog. But he quickly gains her trust by showing her the toy she gave Kitty. So she tells him to help her escape before the not pathetic looking dogs appear. Courage can't open the window, so he uses his head. Inside he digs as fast as he can. However, one of the dogs enters the room, and in a sudden moment of bravery, Courage claps his cheeks with the lights off and pulls Bonnie loose from the dirt, but we hear another dog approaching. The old man is in complete despair and decides to put dynamite, since we all know that's the weakness of a door and of the entire house. But before that, Muriel gives him the actual solution. They open the door and realize that Kitty is no longer there, leaving the room a complete mess. Yeah, what a terrible guess that was.
Must have had to go to the bathroom.
Then we see Courage execute more gangsters without being discovered. Wow, real G's truly move in silence like lasagna. However, Bonnie tells him they have to escape since Mad Dog is coming. Courage quickly throws himself headfirst into the window and they run. Mad Dog angrily enters the room and starts chasing them, so Courage takes desperate measures, throwing himself with a fire stair. They run scared, trying to get lost in the darkness of the night. However, Mad Dog's car chases them and seems to have the intention of running them over. Courage decides to sacrifice himself so that Bonnie can escape safe and sound. Thing that doesn't work because the Doberman is after Bonnie, not him, and he wants to finish off his girlfriend. Courage desperately runs after the cart and enters headfirst inside the car, diverting his car right in front of a train, so that a few seconds later he crashes into it, saving Bonnie's life and giving her back the freedom she longed for. Courage, very beaten next to the train tracks, in his mind realizes that he has defeated the monster. Not the one he thought, but he finished the monster. Bobby tells him that he's a brave dog and gives him a kiss in gratitude. Then we hear Kiri's voice. She was inside the train. Bonnie's very happy to see her and tells her that Courage saved her life, and she replies that she was wrong. Not all dogs are bad. She gets on the train and they say they will be best friends forever. Haha. They say thank you while Courage is left alone, destroyed by all the violence he suffered. Luckily there was no real collateral damage, except for Courage Mike getting severely injured and traumatized from all the violence he got from Kitty, but it's fine because he can just say cats are hoes and continue the cycle of manipulation. I think something like that was the conclusion.